Definitely grew up in a family that struggled economically. We were working poor at best, and over the course of my childhood, my family was intermittently dependent on a service called energy assistance, which is basically a federal service where the government basically pays low-income families heating bills. And my parents were always very transparent about what was going on in our family and that type of thing, so they disclosed that, of course, and it was helpful, but it never actually solved the problem, because year after year we would find ourselves basically in the same situation. So I grew up with that experience, and periodically we were going to the food shelf and the food bank for holiday meals and that kind of thing. And so I grew up with some firsthand experience of poverty. And after going through school and graduating from college with my undergrad, I then elected to go back to school. And while I was going to grad school, I actually found myself basically in the same situation that I was in with my family when I was much younger. And so when I was personally experiencing what we call fuel poverty, I called my local energy assistance provider and I asked them if they would provide, well, actually, it's a slightly longer story than that. I found myself experiencing fuel poverty, and near the end of a heating season, I literally ran out of propane. And so it was at that point in time when I actually learned about how I could personally apply for energy assistance. So I did so, and they provided energy assistance. We made it through that heating season. But over the course of the summer, it occurred to me that I was going to find myself in the exact same situation again. And so during the summer months, I actually called the energy assistance provider and asked if they would provide a loan, either a low interest or a no interest loan for a solar heating system, so that I could potentially provide my own heat. And when I called them, they said no, and I said oh. And so at that point, I realized I was going to be dependent on energy assistance again. Well, serendipitously, a family friend knew of a home that was discarding a solar heating system, not because it didn't work, but simply because the home was changing hands or something along those lines. And they basically said, you can come and get it, it's in the dumpster. So I gladly went dumpster diving, and brought the solar heating system back to my home and installed it with the help of a lot of friends and family, and it saved a substantial amount of money for my family. And so that was part of the aha moment. And so we basically realized if this can work for our family in northern Minnesota, there's no reason that it can't work elsewhere in the nation. In fact, there's no reason it can't work broadly across the rest of the nation. So that was definitely part of the aha moment, just this realization that solar energy can actually address low-income fuel poverty. And simultaneously, the program that I was going through at Bemidji State University, I was customizing my curriculum to a certain extent to focus on renewable energy. And so those two threads intersected, and I began to kind of develop the idea of building a nonprofit organization around this notion of delivering solar heat to low-income families. And I was really grateful that Bemidji State University and the faculty that I had the pleasure of working with had the foresight and the flexibility to allow me to basically customize my environmental studies curriculum to develop this organization and develop this notion of delivering solar heat to low-income families and looking at the economics of it and that type of thing.